Hello SUMC, Rob here reporting in from one of SUMC Music's winter outposts with some more thoughts and another friendly check-in to continue to hope you're safe and well and to encourage you to stay in touch. Winter. Well, it was quite an Easter Sunday. Actually, it was a remarkable Holy Week. From the Palm Sunday to Passion Week maneuver on the morning of the 24th, to the striking Good Friday service complete with utter darkness and unnerving sound effects, straight on to the big day itself. Memorable. Easter, I think, is an ending and a beginning all at once. It's the end of Lent, it's the climax of a story that is wrenching and ultimately wonderful, and it's the beginning of the story of a humanity that actually knows of the resurrection and everything it represents. I know a few other things about Easter. I know for a fact that there were people in our pews on Easter Sunday morning who'd never darkened the door of the SUMC sanctuary before. So I suspect it's possible that there were people who were hearing the Hallelujah Chorus sung, not on a recording, but live and in person for the first time. When we invited people to come into the chancel and sing the Hallelujah Chorus with us, we had a number of young people, some of them very young, some of them carried by their parents who were singing, a number of young people coming up into the chancel to be with us. So I know that there were people singing the Hallelujah Chorus for the first time, or at the very least experiencing it up close and personal and all around them for the first time. I am always very aware of this, since I get to be the guy who stands in front of everyone and flaps his arms and keeps the whole together. Since this Easter was the 20th Easter that I've had the privilege of conducting the Hallelujah Chorus with a pack of singers up in the chancel, obviously during the 2020 COVID Easter there was none of that, and then the next year Kevin and I just played it on keyboards, and then the year after that we sang it with the choir up in the chancel, but we encouraged people to stay in their pews so we didn't overload the chancel with too much expelled air. Anyway, this year was the 20th time I've gotten to look at all those faces and spare a brain cell to consider that, there were people who were getting the Handel experience for the first time, and that this is not an insignificant moment in a person's life. It's that kind of piece of music, and more people ought to have the regular experience of group choral singing, but don't for whatever reasons. This year, I was also aware of an ending, or at least somewhat of an ending. It was the last Sudbury UMC Hallelujah Chorus, barring an exciting return state visit sometime in the future, for one of our choir singers. I will explain. In my mind, there are SUMC people whose arrival dates I can't remember. It seemed to me that they've always been part of the landscape, and I've been startled to hear that they arrived at SUMC far more recently than I thought. The example I'm thinking of this moment is that of Mike and Linda Cooper. They'd been SUMC fixtures for just about 20 years, and they're now well into the process of moving from eastern Massachusetts to Virginia. Linda's been a major driver in SUMC's Christmas Eve Love Feast service efforts and a regular and skilled participant in the Choir Chimes ringing ensemble. And since the Coopers arrived here at SUMC, Mike, quietly, unobtrusively, with no self-aggrandizing fanfare, has been the linchpin of the choir's bass section. We don't have official section leaders, but boy, has he been that. Also, as we reemerged from the COVID lockdowns of 2020, Mike was a regular member of the little musical reopening group, first on the classical guitar, and then as part of the social distancing mini choir that paved the way for the rest of the choir to return. For these musical reasons, and also for their faithful commitment and entirely enjoyable presence as people here at SUMC, I'll miss them dearly. Someone may succeed them, but will never replace them. And so, as I flapped my arms in front of those dozens of Handel singing people this past Sunday morning, I was glad that I conducted the Hallelujah Chorus as many times as I have. It means that I hardly need to look at my score anymore, so I can give my full attention to smiling at people as I offer them cues to sing certain things. And in this case, so that I can actively think about the little kids and middle and high school and college-age kids who might have been singing the Handel with us for the very first time. And I remember my first Hallelujah experience. And so that I could actively consider what it might be like to be singing that piece for the final time, after having done so for a couple decades in a row in a particular place. As I said to Mike and Linda, we have each other's email addresses and you know where we live, so this is not goodbye, just farewell and safe travels. And some choir in Virginia doesn't yet know how lucky it's about to be. Endings and beginnings, they're all around us all the time. Most times we don't realize that that's what we're looking at, but sometimes we are consciously aware of them. Sometimes we do recognize that we're experiencing a moment that won't happen again. So if anyone's interested in experiencing a beginning, there's a chair available in the bass section. Who am I kidding? There always is, in every section. Anyway, please check back here every Friday afternoon if you like for more video hellos here on SUMC's Facebook page or on the SUMC YouTube channel, Sudbury United Methodist Church 2501. My email address will appear here momentarily. Please feel free to use it anytime for any reason. And as always, if you need to get in touch with any church staff people for any reason, please do during normal business hours, because no matter how, no matter what, doing the work of the church together is the big thing. Keep in touch, keep the faith, stay connected.